And good evening. It is Dr. D this evening with you. And tonight, well, first of all, I want you to know that we do have a YouTube channel and it is open to possibilities. And I think the link is open to possibilities 6900. So if you want to go to the YouTube channel and see any of our talks that we do, you can do that on YouTube, or we also have our talks on TikTok. TikTok is spiritual and transgender. So before we get our talk tonight, let me just tell a little bit about this talk this evening. Last night, I was at DAP Health at the Stonewall Medical Center in Cathedral City, which is by Palm Springs. And I thought that I was going to be talking basically to a transgender group, so I was tailoring my talk towards that, and it turned out that it was a mixed group of harm reduction, transgender, addiction, and just across the board, all sorts of people. And I believe that when we show up as what I call God or the universe or the consciousness that we raise has us to show up as, and there are lessons that we learn at that time, that everything is a lesson and everything is in our path is meant to be for us to learn at certain times. We are all on our own curriculum in our life. So tonight we're going to take a deep breath, but before we take a deep breath, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What is it you need to hear tonight? And what are your core values? And what matters most in your life? And what do you need to hear about your own worth? And what can I do to be kind to myself? And tonight I'm asking that spirit, intuition, our spirit guides lead us to a place that as we open up, that we are able to have those questions answered to us. As I've said many times, my doctorate is in spiritual science. So I've studied Islam, I've studied the Jewish, I've studied evangelical, Native American, across the board. So what I know is sometimes, like when I studied with the Dalai Lamas, for instance, there were some of the verbiage that didn't quite resonate with me. And one of the lamas said to me, when there is a word that doesn't resonate with you, just change that word to love. And as they were doing the teaching and things, and certain verbiage, it just, because of maybe being the Western world, it just didn't resonate. And I found that when I changed the words I didn't understand to love, then I intuitively got the message. So if I use the term God tonight, it's not a term about religion. It's a term about a power that is greater than us, that we are a part of at the same time, that we are also at the same time part of this. So if I say God, and that's a little bit harsh for you because of the world of religion that you've come from or been beat down on your head, just substitute that word God for love, because love really is all that there is. So tonight, let's just take a deep breath and let's breathe in through our nose and count to 4. And exhale any anxiety. Let's do it again. Imagine peace going through your body, exhaling any fear. Let's Just one more time. Oh, let's feel the joy. Joy going down through our body. And any unhappiness, let's let it go. And so it is. So, I'm going to be teaching a little bit tonight of what I taught last night, because although we videotaped it, I was all over the place with people, and as you know, when I'm with an audience, I'm about connecting with the audience, not about following a video person taping me. So you got the back of my head much of the time, okay? So tonight is going to be some of the same truths that I presented last night. And I want to ask you this question. Can you accept the fact that you're enough as you are? Yes, flaws included. Then I want you to say with me this: I am enough. No. That's about as honest as snow on the ground here in Palm Springs today at 80 degrees. I want to hear it from you. I am enough. Feel how that energy resonates through your body. Feel how that you feel the power that you have. One of my teachers, Brene Brown, who's a renowned research author, said, you're imperfect and you're wired for struggle, but you're worthy of love and belonging. Yes, we're imperfect and we're wired for struggle. Bring on the fight, because we're worthy of love and we're worthy of belonging. So tonight I want to come to this premise. I want to talk about what's in your name. I want to talk about the words that we say to ourselves, because it's more important what you say to yourself than what somebody else says about you. Because scientifically, and as I say many times, science will back up spirituality, but science will not back up religious dogma. So, in New Age practices, and practices way beyond old age, right? There's always been the practice of breathing in like we do. What does that do? That clears the mind, for one, because the mind will tell you we're only a mind and a body, that we don't have a soul. And it also clears the energy fields within us. The energy fields, which are the basic 7 chakras that we have here, 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 here. And those chakras that we have are our power points. And I have a whole teaching on chakras. This is just kind of an overview tonight. And those chakra power points are likened to the cell towers that we have out here. The cell towers on our cell phones. We get the reception that we get because of the cell towers that are out there. And when we are in line with the right frequency, things work. Now, you know, going from Palm Springs to LA, there's a little part of the drive that when you drive on your radio, if you're listening to the radio, it goes, the frequency's off. The static happens. Einstein and many other scientists have said this: everything is energy. Absolutely everything is energy. This is energy. This is energy. Your energy. Everything is some type of molecules, atoms, nucleus, you name all the scientific things. It is energy. So in this energy, what is the difference between a frequency and a vibration? Because we're always vibrating. And in order to raise our consciousness to a different level, we have to raise the frequency of our vibration. And the vibration is the rate of the vibration, the frequency is the rate of vibration or oscillation measured over a specific period of time, such as like a second, okay? The best way to explain that would be like if I look at a person's heartbeat. A person's heartbeat is 60 to 100 beats per minute. But as we raise and reach a high frequency in our personal energy signature that we attract more positive emotions and experiences. The experience of love, for instance, is at a very high frequency emotion. And when we put out a low frequency, we drop into that ego-based mindset, which I call ego-based edge God out mindset, and we begin to attract negativity, stress, anxiety, depression into our experience. And to break it down further than this, as the frequency rate increases, the matter that we're made of becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. And therefore, we're vibrating at a higher frequency. Our bodies become lighter as a result. And therefore, our consciousness becomes higher and lighter. And we allow ourselves to reach new levels of comprehension because we're able to rise above the judgmentalness and above the mundane that is in this three-dimensional world that we are in. So I was asking myself today, and I've asked myself several times, do I love myself enough to learn? And for me, the answer is yes. If you love yourself, you're going to learn and want to learn. So when we talk about, am I enough? I've got two little lovey-dovey bears here, okay? They're hugging each other. They're holding each other. They're together. But we often pull them apart and think that they're separate. They're actually part of one another. Now, one of the things that I teach when I teach and do a workshop with the transgender community is this. The self or gender that you're leaving behind and seeing yourself as a new gender, you must be able to love the old before you can love the new. I think I need to run that by again a little bit. So often a trans woman will absolutely have disdain for the body parts that still may be on her body that are male body parts. May have disdain for the name that she had when she was a man. Now, what I'm saying is this. There's also a part of us that ends up feeling shame and guilt for having those feelings. So what I'm proposing to you tonight is that you look at those feelings and you honor those feelings. And in honor of those feelings, you begin to say to the name, I bless you and I let you go, and you no longer serve me. Now, let's use me for an example. Publicly, I'm known as D or Dr. D. Yes, I have a Reverend Doctor title. But the name that I changed my name to maybe 40 years ago or maybe more was the name of Damien. I want to talk about transitioning and blessing. And the name I was born with was Stephen Bruce Ford. When I was born, the name that was given me, Stephen, was the name of a derelict drunk that used to hang around my grandfather's gas station. It's a great association, isn't it? No wonder I drank years ago. And the name Bruce actually was the milkman's name. So when I came along, knowing that my father didn't want me anyway, and that my mother left me at the hospital when I was born, that really makes you feel secure. That really makes you feel that, oh, I'm enough just as I am, doesn't it? No. I felt like damaged goods. I felt like I'm a mistake. I felt like I didn't need to even be on the planet. I didn't even fit anywhere. So all of my young life being called Steve or Stevie, I absolutely hated it. Hated it. And hated Bruce even more than that. To the point that after a while I went by just Stephen B. And that was okay for a little while, but just okay. Still didn't resonate with me as a person of who I am. You see, we aren't just a mind and a body. We have a soul. Now, where is your soul? I'm so glad you asked. The soul is right behind your eyeballs. Right behind your eyeballs. You can go to the mirror right now, or you can go to the mirror tomorrow and look in the mirror and say, hi, soul. Are you happy? Hi, soul. Do you know peace? Hi, soul. Are you knowing love? Hi, soul. What's going on with you, the real you of who I really am? And listen to what your soul is telling you, because your soul won't lie to you. We can put on a face a lot of times to fool a lot of people, but our soul won't lie to us. So in my body, nothing fit. And I decided that I was going to change my name. Talk about transitioning. And I used to do gospel music, and I was on the docket of a concert that was going to be at the Oakland Auditorium in Northern California. And whether it's gospel artists or whether it's sacred artists, artists are all the same. We're all temperamental. Could I have a different light? Oh, could you bring a little more treble up on that? And there's way too much bass. Could you put me in a different place? I really don't want to go on after her or after him. All this chitter-chatter at rehearsal, right? And there was a group called the Hawaiians. And this woman walked into the room who was part of that group. I understood her name to be Damien. That's what I understood. And this woman walked into the room without saying one single word, without gesturing at all, simply her beingness. She walked into the room and you knew you were loved, accepted, and forgiven. And whatever you were enough. You could feel it all over. You know when you walk into a room and you say, oh, I like the vibe here? That vibration, you're connecting with a frequency, a like-minded frequency, a frequency that can change your life and change others, that higher frequency. And at that moment, I said, that's for me. 40 years ago, about 40 years ago, and I changed my name to Damien. And as I changed my name consciously, every single day of my life, I began to try to focus on, I am peace, I am love, I am light, I am forgiveness, I am non-judgmental, I am love, I am joy, showing up as who I am. And the work being done from the inside out, not a gender issue, but a heart issue, a heart meth issue, where my brain says I'm one thing, my heart says, no, this is who you are. And when I look in the mirror, I see that. Now, here's the interesting thing. As I've done the transition and become a trans woman, the name D, not long ago, I was reading something and it said, D means daughter of God. Oh, daughter of God. That's who I am. That's how I show up. That's how the character of who I am. And when I'm told I'm made into the likeness of this God, I am a daughter of God, sharing the light of who I am. So one of the things that I did last night is I brought my coffin. And I had people write down either their, what we call dead name if they were trans people, or an attitude that they wanted to let go of. Something that's, as Spirit spoke to them as I talked and conducted this little workshop, let's bury it. And what I did is I took the things that were in here and I set them on fire and I scattered them back into the universe, to the ground, to begin to grow things again, to become the fertilizer of growth again. It is in the negative experiences that we can find the positive solution. We are here to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. So, what's your name? I am enough. I know that I'm enough. So what happens on this journey? We start on the journey, and when we're small, people say, oh, I love you. You're so cute. You're going to grow up to be whoever you want to. And then when we begin to live our dream and our vision, then they slap us and say, no, you can't be that. You've got to be something else. I think it's amazing. We're told what color we have to like. Boys have to like blue, girls have to like pink, and if you're kind of undecided, maybe non-binary, then you're gonna get stuck with yellow. What if I don't like yellow, pink, or blue? Well, you've got to. That's the only choices you have. But we want you to be you. We want you to grow. We want you to be the best person, to have the best life on this earth that you can. Oh, man, how do I do that? Well, I don't know, but you just have to do it. So we begin to look into shame, and we begin to look into guilt. And how often, if you've watched me several times, have you heard me say shame and guilt never did anybody any good? It's a waste of time. So what's the difference? Because people kind of use them interchangeably, right? As a cognitive behavioral therapist, I found that some of my clients, when it comes to shame, they would be bringing up what we call character flaws. And they were integral parts of who they were. They were unable to separate an action from who they were. Shame says, I'm a bad person. Shame is not a useful emotion. Shame is the most powerful master emotion. Something I didn't realize till recently. You can love someone till the cows come home. You can love an addict till the cows come home. And if they are steeped in shame, I'm a bad person, that shame will override the love that you're giving towards them. That shame pushes us to addiction, depression, eating disorders, suicide, and self-destructive behaviors. I remember standing in my apartment in West Hollywood, pulling the drapes. Unfortunately, I had enough money that I could do that and not go out. I'd go out at 12:30 in the morning, down to the bars, looking for somebody or something to pacify my time, looking for love. Oprah, I was looking for love. Well, the truth is this. The relationships that you and I developed, friendships and romantic relationships, we developed them at the level of what our self-worth is. If your self-worth is, I'm not enough, you're going to bring people into your life to reinforce that you're not enough. You're not going to be able to reach up here and bring somebody into your life that is going to help boost you up. You're going to attract, like attracts like. That's a hard one. Get that through our heads. We are manifesting right now, even as I stand here. Either you are manifesting negative or you're manifesting positive. Either way, you are manifesting. The only way to change the manifestation to a higher frequency is through doing the work to rewire the brain. Do you know people that are in addiction with opioids and things? It takes at least a year of a change in behavior and a change in thinking for the cells of the brain to become rewired. It's not going to happen overnight. The question is, What's your core values? What matters most in your life? Do you want to do the work? What is your own worth to be able to do the hard work to get to that level that you can say, I'm enough, flaws included, I am enough. I remember what it was like to close the drapes, and I remember what it was like to wake up in the hospital after trying to end my life. I was so ugly nobody would ever want me. I had nothing to offer anybody. Having gone through the world of religion, gone through the world of bars and drugs and things, I was at a place that I knew nobody would want me. I didn't want myself. And guess what? Even this God thing didn't want me. I was screwed. I was screwed, and there was absolutely no way out. Except through my depression, my aggression, my suicide attempts because I was in so much pain. We're talking about energy. We're talking about how we move through this life and how we develop a life that matters. You cannot develop a life that matters when you don't know that you matter. You matter. So guilt, what's the difference? Guilt says, I did a bad thing. I stole that money. I made a mistake. I acknowledge my part in a situation that was. But I don't see myself as flawed or damaged due to that mistake. Let me give you an example. And I'm getting into an area tonight that I'll probably get letters about. I've worked in the alcohol and drug rehab program. Every time you say, my name is so-and-so and I am an addict, you are reinforcing the addictive behavior. You heard me. You are reinforcing the addictive behavior. It's the shame. But when you can say, my name is so-and-so, and I am a recovering drug user, that is the act. That is not who you are. Who you are is a child of God today. Who you are is a imperfect being wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. That's who you are. Yes, we've all done bad things. Scientifically, sound travels through water faster than it does through air. Okay? I don't give a rat's behind about what you say to me. But I am concerned with what I say about myself to myself. Because when I say something to myself about myself, I hear it, I see it, I can taste it. What am I, 80% water? Every cell of my body begins to experience that. For instance, have you ever known anybody that when they say, oh, I'm just a real bitch? And guess what? Their whole body begins to show that. What happens when, do you know, I am enough. And today I'm showing up as joy. Today I'm showing up as peace. Today I'm showing up as love. You walk into a room where that person is and the vibe is totally different. You want to be around them. You may not know what's going on with them, but you want to be around them because the vibration, the frequency has been raised. The same thing. Raise your frequency. Do you know, I was talking last night and I wish I would have gone to the refrigerator before I was doing this talk tonight and got a bottle of water, because I was demonstrating how that I buy water by the case, and it's in the plastic bottles, okay? And I go home and I do a meditation. It's not always like what you hear in the background. That is a cleansing sound that I have going throughout the apartment a lot as a cleansing sound, cleansing any negativity. And I do a little meditation, and then I sit at my computer and I type, I am love, I am joy, I am peace, I am kindness, I am health, I am well-being, I am whatever it is. And then I cut them and I tape them to the water bottles, and I put them in the refrigerator. And then in the morning when I get up and I drink a bottle of water, I don't look at which one I'm going to get. I reach in and I pull the bottle of water out, and it says, I am forgiveness. I am forgiveness. And as I begin to be in a state of gratitude, first thing in the morning, my intention is to be forgiveness. And I see every cell of my body loving and healing every other cell. I see my chakras coming together and being healed, because when our chakras are in alignment, we don't know dis-ease. Dis-ease, not at ease. The universe is created to be self-healing. We're created to be self-healing if we follow the energy, frequency, and vibration of how to do it. But it's not for the faint of heart. So as I begin to drink the water that day, I see and I visualize forgiveness being through my body. And the Course in Miracles, which I'm also a student of, says, if I hold a grievance, the light cannot shine in and through me. So it's in that moment that I say, dear God, I let go of the grievance and I see forgiveness coming. Forgiveness does not mean you have to be kissy, kissy, huggy. Forgiveness means that that person doesn't hold anything over on you anymore. Now, let me be real with you. There's a person, and I work in a big company, right? I work in a big company. And there's a person in this company that is just a thorn in my side. If she left tomorrow, I'd have a party and be thrilled. And there are some things that she has done that irritate me to no end. And yes, I have a pet name for her, okay? And I said to a couple of my friends, blah, 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 about blah, 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 blah. And this went on for a day, for 2 days, for a couple days. And yes, we can be in that state of where our frequency isn't here. But when we recognize it, when we become aware of it, am I going to let somebody else rob me of living in peace and in joy? And joy. One of the people that I follow, and I've read a couple of her books, Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins has a brand new book out, just says, you know what, let me grab it real quick. It's the theory of just let them. I've read the book through and through, reading it for the second time. I have the book on audio. Just let them. What does that mean? It means let them, and the second part of that is let me. Whatever they do, just let them. I can't control them anyway. I can't control their behavior. I can't control their energy, but I can control me. So while this person is annoying, what I have chosen to do, because life is about choice, and Viktor Frankl, in his book for A Man's Search for Meaning, says as long as we have choice, we're free. I have the choice to allow it to affect my soul. That's where the peace, the joy, everything lies. Or to say, let her do what she's gonna do, and let me stand here and breathe in forgiveness. Let me breathe in peace. And exhale any type of unforgiveness I might have, so that the light can continue to shine in me and through me. And ladies and gentlemen, as I do that, I'm able to move through life and with life, and life is moving me. And as life moves me, who am I going to talk to? Who am I going to see? What kind of influences am I going to have? One of my teachers, Marianne Williamson, who said, it is not our darkness that scares us. It is our light that frightens us, for we are more powerful beyond measure. And I'm here to tell you, as you begin to shine your light and live your truth, you give other people permission to live their light and live their truth. And together we see ourselves raising the frequency of love in our country, where hate will have no place in it. We get so caught up in the problem, we can't see the solution. We're living in the A age right now. The two A's. It's the age of anxiety and the age of apathy. People have become so anxious and in a state of anxiety that some have just given up any hope. As long as you have choice, and as long as you keep breathing, you have the ability to make a difference. One of the lines from A Course in Miracles says this: if you knew who walked beside you every day on the path that you have chosen, you would never doubt or fear again. Yes, the world appears to be shaky. Yes, a lot of uncertainty is around and abounds. And yes, we're having to rewrite different and implement different health plans and way of doing things, especially with the transgender and LGBTQ community. And as I say all the time, LGBTQ plus is one complete letter, one complete stretch. If it's not one complete, well, then it's going to be cut off letter by letter by letter by letter. And we've got to raise our frequency that we're collectively involved. And as we're collectively involved and not in isms and schisms and finding fault, but finding meaning, we begin to see a change take place. Do you realize that a mosquito, as small as a mosquito is, really, 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 really can make a change? And you, my friends, can really make a change tonight. So, creating a world that matters. We learn how to set boundaries with ourselves, how to set boundaries with others. We learn how to take negative experiences and turn into positive experiences. We learn how to change negative self-talk into positive self-talk. We learn how to go from being, I'm no good, I'm damaged goods, to raising up, and I am enough. So let me ask you in closing this, to ask yourself, what are your core values? Ask yourself, what are my core values? What really matters most in my life? What really matters when I get honest with my life? And what is it that I need to hear about my own self-worth? You know, the self-worth that you're beautiful, the self-worth that you're a creative individual, the self-worth that you have value, the self-worth that I believe in you, the self-worth that you are terrific, the self-worth that you have all of the power to do things, the self-worth that you're wired for struggle, but you're wired for connection to take you through the struggle, and you're worthy of love and belonging. And what can you do to be kind to yourself? I say this so often, kindness is the language that the deaf can hear. And kindness is the language the blind can see. Let us learn to be kind to ourselves and be kind to others. So, you that are trans, or you that changed your name, bless that name, like my name that was Stephen. I bless that name. You no longer serve me. You no longer serve me. You served me for a while, but you no longer serve me. I put it in the coffin. That is the end of it. And energetically, I am. And for me, I'm more of a two-spirit individual. Transgender has an umbrella on it. It's not just as easy as a trans woman or a trans man or a non-binary. Life doesn't get so black and white. There's so many gray areas. So just as much as I am the daughter of God, I am Damien, individual. Individual, no matter what form I present in, bringing light, bringing love, bringing forgiveness in a world that needs hope, that needs understanding, that needs to know you are enough. Until next time, this is Dr. D. Please join me on the different social medias. Go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, it's free. Or go to TikTok and do spiritual and transgender and watch some of the video talks I've done, because I want to encourage you to be the best that you can. Till next time, bye.